working in government my entire work career until now, to me, I think where the leadership falls short, and especially in recent times, you know, everybody hates government, and you sit around the barbecue pit on Sunday, you want to fire all the government officials and lock up all the public officials, and you government workers, they want to be, you know, you want to fire them. But in reality, as you said, there's professionalism working in the government, in the legislature, in the workforce. And I say that leadership needs to give full disclosure when they're cutting staff. There needs to be a full disclosure. To say that we're reducing government by laying off all the workers in transportation, healthcare, education, and then turn around knowing that we still have those needs, those basic needs, well, what happens is the consultants get the work. And what happens is you pay 4 times more and you get much less quality because they don't have real ownership. And you have state employees that are hired to do a job at a salary that they can depend on, and with the actually the ever decreasing benefits now, it seems, we continue to push them out the door and shrink that, and I think it's to the detriment of the public, because the public needs to know the other side of that. You shrink the employees, you have those professionals that are no longer there, roads still need to be maintained, healthcare still needs to be provided, education still needs to be there. So what happens is you go to the consultant side and you got to start filling all those gaps and spend all that money. So actually they show you a chart where the government is shrinking, but it's the workforce that's shrinking. But if you look at the cost of government, it's doing this, and that's because of the smoke and mirrors. So I suggest that we all should provide full disclosure when we're talking about cutting, and that we you know, face reality. There's some basic things government needs to do for the betterment of the country.
The rise of privatization.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but there needs to be a balance, and there needs to be full disclosure. You need to have considered privatization, but we need to evaluate it. What will that cost compared to having the government perform it?
Mr. President, you hit it head on. In fact, I know that we have tried, as Democrats in the legislature, to have that full disclosure, that transparency, objectivity, accountability. Those are all the words that, guess who uses? The Republicans, right? But they don't live up to them. Their actions don't meet their words all the time, but we permit them to use these words, these cliches, but their actions, once again, don't meet up to it. For example, when we tried to get the records of the governor's office when it came to economic development or privatization, right? Rejected, blanketly. It wasn't even an option. Don't look at the records, can't look at him for years to come when he's long and gone, right? The inconsistency in the rhetoric with respect to campaign finance, ethics, or any of that. Do everything to the legislature, make sure that we're at the top of the list when it comes to ethics and accountability and disclosure for legislators, but when it looked in the governor's office, bottom of the list.
And laundering money.
Right? So you're right about that. Just this afternoon when we visited the UMC, one of the things that we learned about was that the privatization of the mental health component of healthcare provision is costing more than it's costing more at Lafayette General than it was when it was under the LSU system, and LSU had to stop. That was 3 hours ago we got that information, right? And so we're going to follow up on that. So what do we do with this information? We know it's happening. So our job as a party is to get the information, do the research, disseminate it, so that people know when they go to, let's just go straight to the bottom line, when they go to the polls, they know the distinction between the flawed Republican policies and ours. We need to be very clear on what we stand for. Well, no, we wouldn't be offering privatizing mental health services like was done in 2012, 2013. We'll be looking back, right? We're going to hold all the folks accountable for everything that they're doing. We're building a file. You can imagine we're going to need a room at the Democratic Party just for all of the flawed policies of the Republican Party in the next couple of years. We will be ready.
And it's totally going in the wrong direction. You're paying more for a lesser service, a lesser product. They're not going outside because it's better or the expertise is better. Because many of the consultants, as I worked in government, when we, I say at the transportation agency, formed out or consulted out, guess what? The consultants were in our office asking how to do it. So, you know, it's one of those things the government professionals that are left over have to train the consultants who charge the government more and have less ownership.
Yeah, I hear you, and that's the kind of information, as you hear about it, particularly if you have evidence of it, we need to have it, because we'll blast it. I am not worried about Jindal or any Republican at all. I got thick skin, and I'm ready to pop them right between the eyes. Let me be real clear. I'm not tap dancing in the middle. There's no gray area. They're over, I'm about to do that. They're over there. That would be my right. And I'm over here. No mixing up. I'm very clear.